You're muted, Eva. You're muted.
I was talking by myself.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, welcome. I was giving the very best wishes for the weekend. I hope you will all have a very nice weekend. So we will start today with a Sabbath by Twinkle. For a glimpse of the Guru, I have come from afar. Then we have a talk by Michael and a talk by Dr. Sant. Topic is enlightenment through penetrating attention. After that, we'll meditate for 5 minutes to watch Master's YouTube talk, and then we'll have group meditation with love and devotion. Let's start. Thank you so much.
Rama Swami. The Shabad that I will be singing today is composed by Swamiji Maharaj, and a quick gist of the translation is as follows. For a glimpse of the Guru, I have come from afar. I have come from a great distance and walked a long way to come here. I am a wretched orphan, a beggar at his door, and am begging for my primal abode. Only the Guru can unite me with the true essence. I have no hope or faith in anyone else. I have surrendered at the feet of the Guru. Only he will relieve me from delusion. With the cord of my consciousness tied to the holy feet of my Sadguru, my mind's restlessness has vanished. I gaze the radiance of Radha Swami, the Lord of the universe, with reverence. He is extremely dear to me. I have come a long way for the glimpse of my Guru. गुरु के दर्शन कारणे हम आए अब दूर से चल आए हम दूर से गुरु के दर्शन कारणे हम आए अब दूर से अब दूर से चल आए हम दूर से दीननाथ भिखारी दर के दीननाथ भिखारी चरण गुरु के पकड़े सोए, चरण गुरु के पकड़े सोए, वही चुरावे कूड़ से आए अब दूर से, चल आए हम दूर से। सूरत टोर चरणन में लागी, सूरत टोर चरणन में लागी, चेत चंचलता सब ही भागी, चेत चंचलता सब ही भागी, वही लगावे दूर से आए अब दूर से, चल आए हम दूर से। राधा स्वामी चरणन निहारे, राधा स्वामी चरणन निहारे, लगे मोहे अब अत कर प्यारे, लगे मोहे अब अत कर प्यारे, आरत करूं शोर से आए अब दूर से, चल आए हम दूर से। गुरु के दर्शन कारणे हम आए अब दूर से, आए अब दूर से, चल आए हम दूर से, आए अब दूर से, चल आए हम दूर से, आए अब दूर से, चल आए हम दूर से। Thank you, Radha-swami.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to satsang. Twinkle, twinkle, our godly star. Thank you for the beautiful shabd that you sang. Very, very beautiful. And your godly voice, everything. We really appreciate, Master appreciates your seva. Thank you, Master, for Twinkle. And my dear Holy Family, I just wanted to announce to you that our dear friend Stephanie, who's listening, but she's working. She's at her doctor's office. She's working and with clients, but she brought this wonderful speaker who's going to speak next Thursday. His name is Paul Fabulous, and he's an Ishwarji lover, and he sings. He sings also. So he sent us a song, and I'm gonna play it now. I didn't try it. I'm gonna play it from my email because they said it cannot be put on a YouTube link. But I'm gonna try to play it from my email, and we can. It's like an introduction to Paul, and we're gonna listen to his beautiful voice, and we're looking forward for his talk on next Thursday. So let me try to play it, okay?
There's one life to give. There's one heart to live. There's one mind to rest. There's one love to bless. The moon shines on your face to feel your touch of grace. Hi, welcome. This is Paul Fabulous. This is a special episode because in a few days I will be connecting with and sharing with a very special group. A group that's a very special group of Ishwar's devotees. And we will be talking about how to love and feel the love of someone that's no longer in the physical. No longer in the physical. So this episode is a guided experience for those who want to connect with someone that is so beloved to you, and you want to feel their love throughout your whole day, throughout your whole life. You want that love to be eternal and permanent, and it is. And this episode is about making that experience felt and lived and known. I'll be talking about how to be with Guru, how to feel Guru's love completely when Guru isn't here, when Ishwar is not here in the body, and he's here. That's what we'll be talking about, and I wanted to give you something to plant a seed for an experience of deepening into this love that you are, this love that Guru has for you and you have for Guru. I have a place that I go, and it starts in my mind. I can go to where I am in my love place, and your love place can be with Guru, sitting at Guru's feet, looking in his eyes, having Guru look into your eyes. And in this love place, Guru is with you, in his love. And he's in your love. You are the love. Every time you go to this love place in your mind, this love place, sitting with Guru in his heart, I can see your face in my window. I can see your face in my dreams at night. I can see your face, and everything around me. I can see your face in everything I am. I am in you. Everything I am is you. Oh, that I am. Oh, that I am is you, he says. Oh, that I am is you, he says. Oh, that I am is you. So I go to this love place through my day. Every time I go in my mind, in everything I do, in everything I create, I first go to my love place. And you can look into Guru's eyes, into Ishwar's eyes. Feel him hold your hand. Completely feel the energy and embody the love that you are. All through the day, I can go to my love place. And from here, I connect with universal energy, with the powerful creator that I am. From this love, now take this love out into my world. Create from this love, from this joy. From this love, from this joy.
Wow. All I can say is wow, wow, wow. Who's not looking forward for Paul? I think everybody is looking forward to have this beautiful brother come and share his love with us for Ishwarji. I am very, very, very looking forward. I'm very, very excited. Father God and Master, they keep the grace on us by sending us true lovers of the Lord, sending to this satsang, to this holy circle of lovers, really, really wonderful souls who are deeply in love with God, deeply in love with Master, and this love keeps nourishing us. What a beautiful voice, what a beautiful seva, and I'm very looking excited. And thank you, Stephanie, for inviting Paul to our circle of lovers. I hope you're listening. um, yes, so my dear holy family, welcome to another day of love. And Paul was talking about the special place he goes to, which is here in the middle of the head, behind the two eyes. And he imagines he does the dhyan, he does the contemplation of the master, of the inner master, Ishwarji, who left his physical body, but never left us. He's inside of us. And all what we have to do is just look inside with deep attention, put our attention on the place of love, put our attention on the place of love, and the magical thing will happen that if our attention is full, if our attention is undisturbed, if our attention is single pointed, if all our attention is there, if all our energies of this body, the human temple, is there at that point of love, at the love house, the love place in the middle of our head, then the magic happens and Ishwarji appears. And then when he appears inside, he is just like outside. You won't even know if it is outside or inside, but it will be an appearance that is more real even than the outside. And then you will get that love, you will get that holiness, you will get the drishti from within, from God inside of you. And that place of love, if we go there every day and fill our sacks, fill our cups, fill our buckets with love, then come out to the world. And then from that place that we fill our love, we can enjoy this world. As we will be swimming in that love, we will be still enjoying that experience of love that we had with our inner God, with our inner Ishwar, with God inside of us. And then when we are in this world, we are doing everything together. There is a poem of Hafiz I will read to you. And he's like, when the seed cracked, when the nut cracked, he was saying before the nut cracked, he was waking up every day and saying, what am I gonna do today? What am I gonna do today? But after his love fermented and that nut cracked, he started waking up and saying, what are we gonna do today? Means him, his soul, half his soul, and master. That he carried master with him everywhere he went. And he was saying, what are we gonna do, master, today? How are we gonna be mischievous to this world? How are we gonna play with this world? And that is the most beautiful thing, to carry Master with us every place we go. Every place we go, it is not just us, it's not the I, but it is I and Master. And at some point, there will be no more I, it will be just Master. So in the beginning, we carry Master with us, and then we melt in Master and become the Master. And that is a process. That is a process where a soul melts into God and becomes God. But for now, we can carry Master with us every place, talk to Master, joke with Master, cook with Master, eat with Master, talk to Master, and say, Master, how is this food tasting? Please cook my food. Please do this for me. Please do this with me. Drive with me. And every second of our life will be a grace because Master is with us. First of all, we were graced with the human body. And after that, after this grace of the human body, we got a higher grace of being initiated by a perfect living master. To be initiated by a perfect living master is the highest grace to humanity. Our soul has been awakened. The secrets of life, the mystery of life has been revealed to us. We know why we are here. We know what we shall attain. We know our destination. We know what we will become. And that is the most beautiful thing, that we are not in darkness anymore, that we know what should become of our eternal life, of our eternal destiny, where we will be, and what is lying ahead in front of us. The most beautiful thing is lying ahead in front of us, and we can start to enjoy it from this moment as we take Master with us every place we go, everywhere we are. It is not just us, but it is us and Master. And when we walk in this world with this attitude, with this concept, with this way of living, then it will be very easier inside to see the face of the master. Then the master will reveal himself at some point. So we have to keep trying to come to this place of love, sit in this place of love, and connect with the source of love, which is our inner master, the creator of this whole show, and have an intimate relationship with the master where we cannot be shy. We can just reveal our heart. We can just Say everything. Tell Master everything that is in our heart, whether it is something that is disturbing us. It could be some desires that are happening in us. It could be some thoughts that are ungodly. It could be anything that is hindering from Master. We sit there at the door of love. We imagine Ishwarji in front of us and we open our heart. We confess to our inner Master what is holding us, what is taking us away. We lay down our head to the inner Master, give him all our problems, all our worries, and all our desires, and everything. We hand it to the Master. When we do hand everything to the Master, then it is Master's responsibility to change us. It is Master's responsibility to take away our fears, and it's Master's responsibility to arrange our path of love from beginning to end, from the start to the middle to the end. It is all in Master's hand. Once we just see that, once we start to see that, and we take the I-ness away, that we are not the doer, but Master is doing everything for us, moment by moment, then the path will become more and more and more easy as we surrender. And surrenderance comes from the inside to the inner Master, that we put our head there, we relax in his lap. We relax in the lap of the inner Master inside of us. So Ishwarji was, we met him, we had so much good time with Ishwarji in the outer life. And that time was so holy and so charged, but also nothing in this world stays the same. Even the Master, the outer Master, he comes and then he leaves. Everything in this world comes and then goes away. But what is behind what comes and goes is the permanence of love. The permanence of everything is within us, and that permanence is eternal. That permanence can never be taken away from us. So Ishwarji appeared on our outer life. He showered us with grace. He showered us with love. He taught us how to find him inside. And after he did that, he left because it was his time to go, but he is inside each one of us. Anybody who saw him, anybody who took a look at him, anybody who heard his satsang, even a glimpse of the Master, that's it. Then he takes a seat next to the soul and he never leaves. Let me read to you a few poems of love from Hafiz, and uh, and then we can proceed. Okay, this one. I have learned so much. I have learned so much from God that I can no longer call myself a Christian, a Hindu, a Muslim, a Buddhist, a Jew. The truth has shared so much of itself with me. Wow, the truth has shared so much of itself with me that I can no longer call myself a man, a woman, an angel, or even pure soul. Love has befriended Hafiz so completely, it has turned to ash and freed me of every concept and image my mind has ever known. Wow, love has dissolved him. Oh, this one is also beautiful. It says, the sun never says, even after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, you owe me. Look what happens with a love like that. It lights the whole sky. Wow, this poem is so short but so powerful, and it's about unconditional love. The sun never says, even after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, you owe me. Look what happens with a love like that. It lights the whole sky. That there is two types of love in this world. There's the conditional love because of our mind. Give me and I will give you. Love me and I will love you. Don't love me and I won't love you. This is the love of this world. Very, very, very limited and limited love. But the love of God to us is totally unconditional. We can even call him, instead of calling him God, we can call him Dog, and he will still love us the same way. That God is unconditional love, and he will never say, "You owe me." He keeps on giving and giving and giving and giving and giving. And all what we have to do, just say thank you. Just a little gratitude towards God will go so long way, because we cannot give anything to the giver. What can we give to the giver other than to say thank you? Thank you for giving me the human body. Thank you for initiating me. Thank you for awakening my soul. Thank you for putting me in your boat of love. Thank you for showing me the mysteries of this world. Thank you and thank you and thank you for God and the kingdom of God. This satsang is only a thank you. Thank you. As without the grace of the Master, we can never have satsang. Without the grace of the Master, we can never think of him. Without the grace of the Master, we can never meditate. It's only grace that makes us meditate. It's only grace that makes us come to satsang. It's only grace that puts us together as lovers of the beloved, lovers of God in the circle of lovers. Only grace. And all what we can say is thank you, and thank you. And thank you to the power of infinity, to Father God and Master. Okay. Oh, this is the poem I told you about. The seed cracked open. It used to be that when I would wake in the morning, I could with confidence say, "What am I going to do?" That was before the seed cracked open. Now Hafiz is certain there are two of us housed in this body, doing the shopping together in the market and tickling each other while fixing the evening food. Tickling each other. Ooh. Now, when I wake, all the internal instruments play the same music. God, what love mischief can we do for the world today? Wow, I love this poem. So beautiful, so beautiful. Okay, just one more poem. Why just ask the donkey? This poem, Hafiz is saying, he's comparing the mind to the donkey. And he's saying there is other animals so much more beautiful than the donkey inside our body. So he's saying, why just ask the donkey? Why just ask the donkey in me to speak to the donkey in you? Mind speaking to mind. When I have so many other beautiful animals and brilliant colored birds inside that are all longing to say something wonderful and exciting to your heart. Let's open all the locked doors upon our eyes that keep us from knowing the intelligence that begets love and a more lively and satisfying conversation with the friend. Let's turn loose our golden falcons so that they can meet in the sky, where our spirits belong, necking like two hot kids. Let's hold hands and get drunk near the sun. Let's hold hands and get drunk near the sun and sing sweet songs to God until he joins us with a few notes from his own sublime lute and drum. Wow. If you have a better idea of how to pass a lonely night after your glands may have performed all their little magic, then speak up, sweetheart, speak up, for Hafiz and all the world will listen. Why just bring your donkey to me asking for stale hay? and a boring conference with the idiot in regards to this precious matter, such a precious matter as love, when I have so many other divine animals and brilliant colored birds inside that are all longing to so sweetly greet you. Wow, just beautiful, beautiful poems. Just saying, let's sing to God, let's hold hands and get drunk near the sun and sing sweet songs to God until He joins us with a few notes from His own sublime lute and drum. Wow, that God is there inside of us. And if we sing for God, if we sit here and we start singing for the Lord, and He might join us with some few sweet notes of His own. And that is the truth. That is the truth. That is why all the saints and masters, they stress on Dhyan. They stress on the Dhyan of the Master, the contemplation of the image of the Master. By remembering a moment where we saw our perfect Master, a moment in our physical life where we had a talk with Master, where he looked at us, where he did anything to us, even when he was on the stage talking and looking at us. We imagine him inside the love place, inside the love house. Here, we imagine Master looking at us, and then that imagination will turn into reality, will turn into reality, and a very, very vivid reality where the master just shows himself and starts talking to us, or just showering us with his love, that he is there, and all what we have to do is keep polishing our mirror so our divine self will show itself completely. Keep polishing our mirror, keep handing our desires, our problems, our thoughts, whatever we have inside of us that is dark, ugly, the good, the bad, and the ugly, let's hand it to the master. Here, have my head, have all the rubbish I have, and take charge of me moment by moment. Thank you, Master, for the seva. I felt very happy, and I enjoyed Twinkle and Paul very, very much. They ignited the holy fire inside my heart. And I welcome our dear brother, Dr. Chant. Dr. Chand, where are you?
Here with you.
Cool. Welcome.
I am here with you, my dear.
Wonderful.
So you introduced the young man, who sang such a beautiful song, and I hope this is what will be another feather in the cap. Everybody would love that. That's great. So today, we will be talking on enlightenment through penetrating attention. That's the subject today. Now, actually, the mind has got an ability to do critical thinking. Now, this critical thinking has to be used, and attention is like an omniscanner, which can scan all the information right from the universal mind to the causal mind, astral and physical minds. So your attention, which is like an omniscanner, can look into all those areas. And the mind has got a beautiful ability for critical thinking. Now we got to use this critical thinking to get enlightenment, and to get this enlightenment, there is a tremendous time, because those experiences and events which happen in our life, they are in this. The information is embedded in the mind. As you have all understood that how in our astral mind we have got all that information which we decided, it is all predestined, and that's what we are living. Now, in this window of 100 years, this particular life, out of millions of years of lives, so we have got a beautiful attribute of the mind, which is, which is like critical thinking. Now, this thinking has to be that we can always make difference between certain things, like sustainability. Now, we can always know that the mind and body together are running our system in a predestined manner, because the universal mind operates all these minds. The whole universe is moving in a specific direction, which is predestined. The next morning, the sun will come up at such and such time, the weathers will come, and so on. Now, this is all predestined life. Our relations, uh, our family members, our friends with whom we interact is all predestined. So now, sometimes once we are living this life, we forget to really to look into those areas, because we think that we are going to live for here. This is the only life, because the satsang tells you almost everything, that what life is, how you have come here, how you have acquired the mind and created the body, and how you decided your things, to be predestined. And you have got only two free wills: one to come into the predestined, and once you are here, having all those karma theory, etc., and then you got to go back is a free will. So only two free wills, two times. One while coming, another one is while going. Now all other things are predestined. Now looking into this, that this life is, it's a temporary life for a short while, and this human body is the crown of creation. It is only here we can get enlightenment, and to use this enlightenment to be out of body and mind both. Because when we die, we will be out of the body, but the mind will still be overpowering the soul. And it is said, Ant mataha sogata. At this time of death, whatever mind is telling you, it withdraws your attention and involves into it. And then you go into life cycles as per karma theory. Because, at the end of life, if we are not connected, if we don't know how to dealing from the mind also, because from the body we will, naturally, once we die, it's a time bound material body, it will die. But once we go out of the body, the mind and soul travel together. And then we go into the astral mind and astral body. There we again settle our accounts. How many have been in the prarabdha? You have this kriyaman karms, whatever you did here. Then you again get some bunch of karmas from the astral body, where there are accounts of all those karmas, of our different lives, earlier lives. Now here, once we meet the master, then he takes over all those past karmas. It is only this karma of this life which we got to live. And while doing this, we have to be cautious that we don't get into those areas which the mind is suggesting, which the mind is doing. So we are using our free will to create more karmas and get involved into that. So this is what has to be understood through critical thinking. And this critical thinking is through your attention, because attention is like an omni scanner. But now you got to give that opportunity and make the mind understand this part, that let the attention scan and do critical thinking, and the mind should get informed. Mind is information based only, so the mind needs to be educated. So all those saints and seers, they've been coming in our lives just to tell us, just to educate this, just to develop that critical thinking in you, so that you can analyze that what is happening here in this life. All the time, you get up in the morning, start going to a job, you get ready, then you bring that money. With that, you are buying a house, living here, feeding your family, etc. So this routine, mundane, is going on. And we are not at all trying to know what we are. So this is how we got to understand through critical thinking that what we are doing here, what for we are here. Now these kind of questions, that what is the purpose of life? Now understanding the purpose of life through saints, we are lucky ones that we got a chain of saints, all those saints starting from Guru Nanak Dev, Kabir Sahab, Ravidas, and Sheikh Taki. The other day, Sadhana ji been talking about Sheikh Taki and how nicely she explained all those aspects. So all these satsangs of various masters, they give us the ability to be that critical thinker so that we can decide, we can know what for we are here. And we are here in this crown of creation, the human body, to get back to our source. Because we've been here and we crossed 8.4 million species, We've been here and we have seen all that. So just for experience, we came here. Now, Ishwar Puri ji told us that Kivandya Pabandya means that whatever nicely we are living this life, we can get connected. So now, this is another critical thinking which we get from the various scriptures, as Michael helps you to understand from various uh, sevadars, who will talk about those things, about those poems, about those beautiful couplets, Sometimes he will speak about uh, Bahu, Sultan Bahu, other time about Rumi, about Kabir. All those people been telling us all this. So now, how we can use our attention to know all this? Because attention is like an omniscanner. It can understand things. If we recognize that we have got that soul with us, because most of the time, body and mind are involving us, and we don't even think that we are a soul, but we are all lucky here in this group, and the family members and our friends to whom we talk, because most of them are going to churches and other places, mosques, to temples, to find out. But now here, it has been so nicely explained. As we explain certain basics, the whole cosmos is one living entity. It has got those three basics: the floating material bodies, the universal mind, and the absolute, which is energizing. That field, which runs the whole cosmos and each atom. And you are part of that. Your finger is part of your body, you are part of the whole. I explained in many of the satsangs that we are three here: body, mind, and soul, and these three are connected with those three. Now, understanding this is a critical analysis of all that. Through science and logic, we could understand that this is what is the spirit of the whole cosmos. We are representing the absolute here. Now, understanding this is a critical thinking. And the mind has got all those tools. How nicely Ishwar Puri ji been telling us how to use those tools of the mind, like memory, like imagination. We can use all that and get in. Because he has given us all this knowledge on a platter. All his videos, which every day Michael puts in here, we listen to that, and how nicely, with a critical thinking, he's explaining nitty-gritties of everything, including your inner experiences, that how it happens, what we think and how he gives beautiful answers to all those questions, which everybody can. All logically thinking people will have their questions. And luckily, in this group, we have got all the answers with us. So my point is today that how we can use this attention. This attention is so so strong that it can penetrate. Today we have used the word that how to use this attention, through attention, and how this attention gets penetrating, because it can penetrate. Mind is only giving you the information whatever is happening. But the state of art planning ability, its execution ability, lies with the soul, because it is part of all knowing, all pervading. And this all knowing, all pervading is so vast. It can look into the universal mind, into the causal, astral, and physical, all those minds, because mind has got information only and laws of nature embedded in it. The third law, every action has got an equal and opposite reaction. Now, looking into this, that your attention can penetrate all this information, what mind is providing and what body needs. So you can always give your penetrating attention to manage the needs of the body, which is hunger, clothes, housing, vanities of the world, sex, sleep, etc. Because wherever the attention goes, the divine energy flows. So you have got your attention with you, and that is the only thing you can use, my dear. All other things are predestined. The mind, which is being governed by the universal mind to put you into the Kala Chakra, that this is how the karma theory is grinding you by all those life and deaths, you are reborn again, because this particular method of using your attention to dealing from body and mind also is an area which the masters are telling you how to really do that. And it's so easy. They say it is withdrawal of attention. It is not focusing of attention. As soon as you focus it, it goes out into the body. If you focus it on the body and body needs, then if you focus it on your mind, then it goes into past and future. And so huge an area of the mind that this particular life, whatever about 100 years, and then in the astral life, many millions of years, right from the single cell, and many thousands of years in the human body, and then in the causal, and then the universal. All those informations are there, and the mind has got all those information. So it is so fathom, and how nicely Ishwar Puriji explained that it is withdrawal of attention. Don't focus it on anything. Just withdraw. And while withdrawing, you can enjoy your life, because then he guides you from there. What is happening, if we understand this, that the mind is trying to run our life based on that information. Because yesterday, this is what has happened, and tomorrow we got to do that. So this is how past and future the mind is operating, and triggers certain components of our brain through high tide, low tide. Because the universal mind is running that gravitational magnetic fields. So they do that part. And we tend to think only that which the universal mind wants us to do. Because the knob of your transistor, which is getting all those informations, you listen to a transistor, or you put on a channel on your TV. So now who's holding that knob or the remote to give you only that particular information? It is the universal mind, my dear, the call. So what mind does? He wants to run you in a predestined manner. And that's how he provides you that information. And then through high tide, low tide, it triggers certain components of your head. in your brain, because there are different areas in your brain. Lust is a separate area, ego is a separate area, the attachments, and anger. So what really happens? The universal mind creates such situations by providing you informations which all of a sudden will come and you will get angry, because that information does that. So this is how the universal mind is running you in a predestined manner. Now, if you know this, then you won't allow this to happen, because somebody else is running your mind. And the masters have told you at the time of initiation, they take up everything, and then they tell you, don't give your attention to the mind or to the body, because body and mind together, they've been using your attention like a donkey day in and day out. Now the time is there. Through this critical thinking, you can use this attention and can understand all this, that now you got to allow the soul, which has got all those divine attributes, which is part of all knowing, all pervading, to operate your mind and body. Once you start meditating, then the intuitions keep on flowing in, and then you have to now differentiate between an intuition and the aspects of the mind which are providing you information. So easy, and the body needs. So if you look at all these three, how to really manage. So if it is related to the body needs anything, you must understand that this is your body which needs it. It can be delayed for some time. You can provide this particular thing a little later after your meditation. Now the mind is again telling you more things about experiences and events past and future. So now you can know this easily, that this is the requirement of the mind. And then you don't give your attention to the mind. So what I say in my talks, that uh, well, I should not use the word I, because he speaks out of you. So now the point is that the legitimate needs of the body and legitimate needs of the mind have to be given attention. Not all those needs. Otherwise, they will together, as I explained, that mind and body together, they create so many permutations and combinations and keep your attention involved to manage their things. So their body and mind are using you. What we have to do, that the soul has to use mind and body both to keep you happy, because the attributes are so good. Love, compassion, mercy, wisdom, humility, state of art, planning ability, execution ability, let us face as it comes, justice, patience, all these divine attributes, they can run your life beautifully well, and that is what is enlightenment. So today's topic is enlightenment, using your attention, which is penetrating in anything. It is all knowing, all pervading, it is everywhere. All pervading, my dear. Now the mind also is here, everywhere, of course. The gravitational magnetic fields, weak and strong forces, all those frequencies, the information system, 2G, 3G, internet, and those laws of nature, they are, it's a huge big area. But your attention is capable of penetrating through all this, because it did penetrate the universal mind and acquired the mind from the universal mind, refined it into a causal mind and a causal body as a scratch. Then it further refined it, made an astral body and an astral mind, which deals with right from the first single cell to the crown of creation, the human body. And then you have those sense perceptions and everything in the astral area. And then you created this physical body having those instruments here. Now, looking into all this, gradually the analysis tells you something more after you know all this. Then what the saints say? That all this is a dream. And that particular knowledge, gives a stunning thing. that this is all a dream, my dear. We are going through a dream. And the reality is better in the astral form. Then from the astral form, again, it is a dream. As soon as we graduate to the causal area, we understand that astral is another dream, little more real, sense perceptions and all. Then you go beyond through the causal area. You go further. Then you again realize, yes, this is a dream. And once you go to the universal area, that one out of you, as Carl, who created the time-bound material creation, is again his dream. And we looked into his dream. And then we had dream into a dream and into a dream. So this is how nicely this particular concept of Sant Mat have been explained. And we are so lucky that each one of us is understanding almost each and every aspect of that. It has become so simple now. Now to make it more simpler so that it is available to the children, because the future generations have to know this. And most of them are seekers going back and forth from the astral to physical, and then they are in Kala Chakra. So they, life and death cycle is going on. They are all, they are so sad because the situation is very bad here. Now this COVID is giving you fears, whereas the soul is fearless because it knows if we are all there, we understand. Ishwar Puriji left his body here, but we are not crying on it. Of course, there is a feeling about him. We want to see him here. But we understand that he being a soul and he being here with us to help us. So we are not grieving him. We are not sad because we know that he's there all the time. He's permanent. He's part of the absolute. And we are all. He told us that also. How nicely he tells that once you go in, then you will find your master taking you a little further. And as you go a little further, you find that master and you are the same. And as you go a little further up, then you know the absolute and you are the same. And here, how nicely stepwise he is telling you, and the penetrating attention of Ishwar Purichi could analyze all his life. He'd been working on it, and he analyzed, made it so easy for us to understand things because he'd been looking into dreams. He understood that part so nicely. And what we understood here with my mother's grace, that how the whole cosmos is, having three basics: body, mind, the universal mind, and the absolute. We are part of that. These three are part of that three. Even a seed has got those three things: the material body, the mind of the seed, whether it is of a wheat, mango, or a gram, and the creative intelligence in that. Look how nicely this particular group have known things in their minutest details. How Prem Palji explains through the Bani, and how beautiful satsangs he does. Then Visheshji explains, Rohit explains, all others, Sadhanaji's satsang yesterday. So now you are enriched, You are few people who are the richest here in this world. Who are the richest people? Who know almost everything. Now, there is nothing left to be known, because I sometimes quote that Gita as a shlok, 7th chapter, 2nd shloka, that after knowing, nothing remains to be known except living the knowledge and exploring it into your day-to-day life. And what we have to explain, that we are a soul with an acquired mind and a created body for a time here. We must go by the attributes of the soul instead of, being dragged by mind and body. So this particular knowledge, if it is given to the children, the future generations, I think everybody will be happy. Then we will be doing all that progress here in this world and trying to do something better for all of us. So I think I have done justice to my subject, and I hope now Michael takes over and tells us something more, and let us listen. And your comments, if somebody wants to give certain comments on this talk today, I'll be very happy to
Or if
listen.
anybody has a question, then we can try to answer him. Anybody has a question?
I can see VP Singh there. So if he feels like he can.
Yeah, anyone who has a question can just open his mic or video and ask. Dr. Chand is here.
Yeah, I can see Mr. VP Singh here on the screen. If he can talk something.
I
Yes,
have
my dear.
drink that knowledge from Dr. Chand. I have drink this knowledge from you and Ishwarji. And every day, almost every hour, when I am conducting my live session with everyone, Ishwarji comes in discussion. And now everybody is getting intoxicated by listening his video on YouTube. And some people say, you are very lucky you have met such person. Now coming to the point, this knowledge that we have acquired this mind, intellect, and ego just to play our role in this world. This knowledge has to be given to kids. Our whole life, we are suffering from this curse of ignorance. And we are thinking we are this body, we are the mind, we are the ego. Whole life, people are suffering out of this ignorance. So I agree with Mr. Dr. Chand Bharadwaj that this knowledge should be given to children at early stage. And
That's right, sir.
unfortunately,
That's right.
I'm not able to go there and serve Dr. Chand Bharadwaj because of this COVID and all, but my soul jumps to his ashram. Just today only I talked to one gentleman. We will go to Chand Bharadwaj for initiation, for your initiation. So he said, Ishwarji has gone. No, I have some other person who can initiate you. Coming to the point, children should be taught in the beginning all these phenomena.
Exactly.
And
You're
they are
right.
so logical. No religion is involved in all these things.
I think
and sir, I have created a line diagram for all this animation. I have shown you last time.
Yeah.
If sometime time permits, I will love to share this knowledge in the form of animation. What Ishwarji has shared, I have conceptualized in the form of 3D diagram.
Wonderful.
तो कभी मौका मिलेगा तो सर हम भी इस मौज को लेके आएंगे क्योंकि अब तो मौज से काम होता है हमारा भी.
That's right. We'll definitely work together, and I'm looking forward as soon as this COVID is over.
One day I will request this 20-30 minutes to present Ishwarji knowledge in the form of colorful animation.
Wonderful, Please do that and let us all work together on it. And now we have got certain singers also with us. So we have to develop those lyrics I was talking, that he was one and alone. And in the stride of bliss, he wanted to love, became from one to many. We are all part of him, connected with the particle and wave, with the Shabad, So we can mention those words, from in Quran it is kalma, and in Bible it is word. The word was made flesh, Nadan. So we got to develop certain lyrics also. I think this group is gonna work. Let's wait for that opportunity as
सर
we
लिरिक तो
all
हम बना देंगे
together.
सर कल दिन में हम बात करेंगे आपसे लिरिक आई विल क्रिएट फॉर यू.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful. That's great. You have offered, but at the same
सर
time,
अब तो मौज
I
इतनी
request.
अब तो मौज इतनी उठ रही है कि अब तो मौज से सब हो जाएगा काम.
Wonderful. Now, I would like to request that in the next chance, whenever this COVID opens up and we all get together in Chicago, and that is how we all should be there together and make a very concrete programs of each and everything, how to really deliver it to the children, and see that how it is taken up by the whole world. Thank you very much, Michael.
God
Thanks.
willing, God willing.
Thank you.
Yes, that all the children will start to have this godly life from their childhood and grow in God.
Yes.
Wow, that will be wonderful. And I see new people here. There is a sister, new sister from China, I think, Huan Fang. I don't know how to say the name correctly, but welcome, dear sister. She's an Ishwar lover, and I welcome her to our group. I have been seeing her for the last a week or two, and she's a friend of mine on Facebook. So welcome, dear sister. I hope you're listening.
Please come on the screen and let's listen to you.
Yeah, her name is Huan Fang. Well, so we're very happy to have you between us, the lovers of God.
That's great.
Anyway, each one of you is very, very, very precious. Very, very, very precious. Lover of Ishwarji, lover of God, holding divinity, an old, old, old soul who have gone through so many, 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 many lives. So each one is very precious, and I'm happy to be among you. It's like a great blessing from Master to me.
That's great.
Okay, so now we can do 5 minutes of meditation,
Okay.
and I'll play Master after.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chand. That was great.
Okay.
During the short break that we had, I received an email. In fact, a number of emails. I get them all the time now from different parts of this planet, different countries. One email I got during this break was with reference to this song. So I said, appropriate that this song be sung again so I can deal with that email. The email said, in this song, it says, whatever you ask from a master, he will give it to you. And in one of the elaborations I gave in an earlier talk, I said, the song says, whatever you ask, the master will give you. It does not say whatever your mind asks, he will give you. In fact, very often, he will not give what the mind wants. Therefore, the email that has just come to me says, how do you distinguish between what the soul is asking and what the mind is asking? I thought this was a subject of common interest to all of us. So I'm going to share with you how to distinguish between what the soul wants and what the mind wants. Actually, the answer is very simple. The mind operates in time and space. The mind functions through thinking. So when you think and ask anything, it's the mind wanting. When you do not think and spontaneously, inwardly, from a gut feeling, from intuitive feeling, from a feeling with no time and space, something comes to you and you want it. That's the soul asking. The soul functions without time and space even while we are confined to this body. When we have an experience of an intuitive knowledge, something we say, we just know. We don't know how. We don't know how it came. It just came. It's the knowledge of the soul. When we say, I can think about it, that is what it is, we reason out, that's the mind. So the two functions happen to be different because of the parameters in which they work. This function of the mind always takes place in time and space. Even the shortest thought takes time, and therefore it's mental. When no time is taken, it is the soul. Love is a factor. Love is an experience that never takes time. It occurs at once. Then, of course, to think about it, the mind takes over and begins to think, what happened? Is this true? Is this real? Will it last? And so on. But the actual occurrence of an experience of love is very timeless, therefore comes from the soul. The mind, by thinking, cannot make up an experience of love. It can comment upon it. It can make observations on it in language, but it cannot create it. The soul creates the experience of love. Similarly, the sense of beauty, a sudden feeling of beauty that is so beautiful, it never comes by thinking about how beautiful it is. It just strikes you with no time as something is beautiful. Then the mind begins to take over and comment upon it, why it's beautiful. And if you allow the mind to comment too long on something that looks beautiful, it no longer looks beautiful. The mind is not capable of creating beauty. It creates a commentary on beauty, sometimes even a destruction of beauty. The mind does not create love. It comments upon love, and sometimes, by too much thinking, destroys love itself. So you will find that the mind very often, which is a very constructive thing given to us, the power of thinking, acts negatively and negates a direct experience of the soul. And that is why this song by Guru Arjan Dev, the fifth Sikh Guru, and recorded in the Guru Granth Sahib, their holy book, talks of what you want, what the soul wants, Guru will give you, no matter what. So this distinction that the mind operates through time and thinking, and the soul operates spontaneously without thinking, if you keep it in mind, you will always know what your soul wants and what your mind wants. I have another email received this afternoon which says, what is the significance of a master placing his hand on your head? That again is reference to the same song, because in this song it says, the one who is spread out with his power all over the 9 universes, if he grants his blessings to you by placing his hand on your head, imagine what blessing and power it is. How does it refer to a person whose power comes from 9 universes? What are those 9 universes? They are the universe of the physical world here, in which he knows everything about the physical world. It's the astral world, the causal world, the 4th region, the 5th region. These are 5 plus physical, 6 plus 3 that are described even above Sachkhand, our true home. Alak, Agam, Anami. What are those regions? Those are not regions traversed by the soul. That is why they are not very often mentioned in our description of what is the journey back home. They say journey back home stops at Sachkhand, our true home, where we merge in totality, where we become one with the Creator. Then what can be beyond being one with the Creator? So the 3 regions described above that, which were first described in such great detail by Swamiji of Agra, then later on by his disciple Rai Saligram, and now still quoted, are the regions of Alak. Alak means there is no way to lakhya it or describe it. Agam, imagine what cannot be described at all is a region. Agam, what cannot be known. You can't even know it. What kind of region would it be that you can't even know it? And the final 9th region would be Anami, which cannot even be named. You can't even say what it is. So those regions are regions from where the totality of consciousness draws its power and uses those models for creating all the universes right below. Those regions are not traversed by individuated soul. Those regions are traversed by the totality of consciousness as 3 different ways to create the seeds of all creation below. So that is why it says a perfect living master who is sitting with us, who has traversed the 9 regions, 9 universes, with that power over 9 universes, that man in an ordinary form puts his hand on your head. It's a blessing of great import and very important. In the same song, it says, Kantalai, if he gives you a hug, he destroys the evil things that you did and destroys a lot of your karma, which arose from the perverse things that you had with you, which means it's the very easy and effective way to destroy a lot of your karma. So it's a very rare event also. And do not underestimate the power of an ordinary human being who just touches your head, who just gives you a hug. It's not that simple like any other embrace or any other putting of the hand on the head. So I'm going to give the same reply to these gentlemen who wrote to me from the other side of this universe. And so, other side of this planet, I mean, not the universe, of this small planet. On this small planet. There are many planets too. I might add that we are a very small speck of creation. This planet itself is so small that 1,000,000 planets of like ours can fit into one solar sun that shines on us. The sun is so much bigger. One other planet, Jupiter, is so much bigger than us that it's hard to see us if we sit on Jupiter. But we can see Jupiter. And so we are very small. The galaxies contain so many suns in the form of stars. Those stars are almost all bigger than our sun. Our sun is one of the youngest stars and has existed for much less time than the other stars in the other galaxies. Imagine the size of this universe and how we are sitting in a very small little planet of it. And we think not only the planet is big, we think our land is big, our homes are big, our property is big. I've got a big mansion. I've got a big, huge limousine car. We compare these sizes here in terms of the size of the universe. We are very small specks. And yet, in the very small specks, we carry a small body, even smaller than these things we make with our own hands. And in a small body lies the vastness of not only all the galaxies, but all the higher regions that we can traverse. They are compressed and put into a head, into a small space within the head, behind the eyes, above the eyes, that contain all that is created outside and much more. So do not underestimate the wealth that lies inside this physical body. It's immeasurable. Everything that you can ever imagine exists inside the body. Everything that has been experimented upon by the Creator is all in there. Everything that will be experimented upon by the Creator is already there. So you'll understand that in the Creator's language, the past and the future are the same. Because He creates the past and the present and the future at the same time, all at once in zero time. And then we are given the opportunity to go on an adventure, get a mind, then the mind spins that total experience into past, present, and future. And we think that time is flowing in one direction, and the past is one that's gone, can never come back. Future is something we don't know where it'll come, what it is holding, we have no idea. Actually, time is not flowing. We think time is flowing. From the future, events are jumping into the present, we immediately experience them in the now, and they slip into the past. That's how we are experiencing it. That is not true. If you go to a higher level of consciousness and look down upon time, you will find time is static. It's not flowing at all. All the events that can possibly happen or have happened are already painted right on the time. And they're all located right on time. We are time traveling. Our attention is traveling on time, which is static. Our attention moves along the time frame, and the events keep coming up into our experience. And we think time is flowing and we are steady. No, our attention is flowing and creating the events that we experience. So this can only be seen from another point of view, a point of view from where time can be viewed as a creation. Here we can't. In fact, we are so trapped by time. Time is the biggest trap created by the mind. Space is a follow-up of time. Space cannot exist if there is no time. Because space means here and there. If there is no here and there is no space. And here and there cannot take place if it is there from now and then. Therefore, time is the creator of space too. And the space-time continuum creates everything that we are experiencing here. So the big trap is not of thoughts or of the other functions of the mind. The biggest trap is the creation of the time-space continuum by the mind. And that holds us here. We cannot imagine anything beyond it. If we say, okay, let's see time. Once upon a time, time was created. What was there before that? There's no way the mind can imagine a timeless state. The time must have occurred in time. Similarly, space. Let's go to an infinite edge of the space. What is beyond that? The mind cannot think of anything except another emptiness or space. Therefore, the actual truth and reality is beyond the possibility of knowledge of the mind and exists in such a compact way that unless it is spelt out by the mind sitting here in a human body, using a human mind, we cannot understand it. That is why these descriptions that have been given of Sachkhand or our true home or Lakagamanami or even Parbrahm or anything beyond the mind are only stories that have been told to us, a concoction made so that our mind can put in a picture and say, wow, that's better than what we have. It's just an incentive creating device to create a story and a description of something that cannot be described. And that is why masters have been trying to say it cannot be described, but let us describe it to you. Swamiji in Agra would say that in Parbrahm, you cannot describe, but I know there are tall trees there, mile-long trees, laden with rubies and diamonds. And when he would say that, more women would come to his satsang, because they loved rubies and diamonds. So when there is no space and time, where are the diamonds and rubies from? But it's just a way of saying it's far more valuable, far more attractive than what you have here. And these are just ways to express things just to satisfy your mind. It is not a description because it cannot be described. It's beyond mental comprehension. So there's a big difficulty in communication about higher experiences, that the higher experiences have to be translated into something that resembles our physical experience. And therefore, all this description that has been given is to teach us something resembling this and yet better. But it doesn't resemble this at all. It cannot resemble. And yet it contains the seed of all creation. The seed of something that cannot be described is the seed that creates all description. It's just like a big oak tree. A big oak tree throws a little seed. The seed is so small. But in the seed, the whole oak tree exists. And the whole oak tree grows from the seed. When seed is planted and waters, the whole oak tree comes out. It does not mean that the seed has to undergo a change to make it an oak tree. The seed contains the oak tree, even when it's such a small seed. The human sperm and ova on meeting create a single cell. It contains the whole human being. And just because it has been embedded with the wisdom of the DNA molecule, which is the wisdom of metabolism and multiplication and creation of forms. It keeps on growing, guided not by anything outside, but guided with its own internal wisdom. In that little cell, a single cell multiplies through the process of metabolic life force and becomes two cells, and then keeps on dividing, subdividing, each cell replicating the cause of the wisdom of the cell, the DNA molecule. Eventually the whole human being comes up, grows up, lives a whole life and dies, all pre-recorded in the DNA molecule. The genome project that is going on today in science is telling us that the whole, not only the whole life of a human being is contained in one cell with one molecule of DNA, but the DNA cell in the brain of a human being contains the entire history of the species. It contains the entire history of who we were before we evolved into this human being, and contains the entire future of life in that cell. This is not metaphysics, this is physics, and this is biology now. This is how they are finding out how things are pre-recorded. Today, a human cell on examination for DNA molecule can even tell us when we will get sick, when we will become a smoker. We thought smoking was a bad habit. How could it be recorded before birth? They have been able to match that those who become smokers, their DNA molecule contains that sequence already. And it also shows at what age they'll become smokers. Who could imagine that what we thought was acquiring a bad habit of smoking was predetermined in a little cell? The DNA molecule is a representation and is a reflection of something that exists inside us. It exists in the causal plane. In the causal plane, everything is contained in the records from which we pick up a destiny. And actually, the DNA molecule is merely a reflection of what we call the Akashic records or Akashic records, which contain the whole DNA and every history it will contain hereafter. So you will see that the seeds of all experience have been created in timelessness and spacelessness. The seeds are so small that they have no dimension. And yet when they sprout, they create through the mind a time and space sequence, and we see the world as it is. Looks like a tall story. Maybe it is a tall story unless you go within to the causal plane and see it happening. That is why these perfect living masters say the spiritual path is not a theory, not a philosophy, not a religion, not a ceremony, not a ritual. It's an experiment. It's an experiment into truth of yourself. It's an experience. Sant Mat, or the science of the soul, or the path of the masters, is an experiential adventure, and it's nothing to do with religion or nationality, color of the skin, age of the person. None of these things matter. The spiritual path has been built into us before we were born. It is built into us before our sensory systems were born. It was built into us before our mind was born. It's built into us before our soul was born. It's come from the plan of the totality of consciousness, and that works its way through all these forms we have taken. And we are sitting here today in a form where we are still connected with this whole process of creation. We are sitting in a form with a head, with consciousness, with wakefulness, with awareness that can lead us, track us back to the whole process through which we have been created. If this is not the greatest miracle, show me another one. The greatest miracle, this whole process of the seed sprouting and creating this whole universe for us, all exists pre-recorded right inside our consciousness, right inside our head in a physical body. The physical body is the most wonderful thing I could ever imagine in this created universe. It enables us to find everything we want to find. All the answers to all the questions lie inside us, and we can get them just by going within. But we don't go within. We want to discuss things outside. We want proof of what we are saying. Why don't you go and find the proof inside? Why do you want to discuss it outside? It reminds me of a story great master used to tell. Once upon a time, an intellectual professor was walking in an Indian field, and many fields have wells, and they don't have a parapet wall around them. So sometimes, unless you see there's a well, you can fall into it, especially if you're absent-minded. And they say professors are generally absent-minded. They are so busy with their own thinking. They think too much because they have to teach. They are thinking all the time. And in thinking while that professor was walking, he fell into the well. The well, fortunately for him, was a shallow well. He didn't drown in it, but he saw a lot of water around him. And he moaned and groaned, where have I fallen? And a man who was walking outside, he heard the moaning and groaning of somebody who has fallen into the well. He came, he said, don't worry, friend, I will bring a rope, and I'll hand over the rope to you and pull you out. So the man goes to bring a rope, and the professor thinks, how can I trust this guy, that he will pull me out? So when the man lowers the rope, he says, before I catch the rope and come to you, first tell me why I fell in the well. Then you explain to me that you will pull me out. Tell me, why should I believe that if I hold the rope, you will pull me out? How can I say, it might that you might drop me down halfway up? When I'm holding the rope, you'll drop me again. First prove to me that you are going to pull me up. Prove to me. And the man with the rope who's trying to help him says, please, can't you ask all these questions once you're outside? Why you fell into the well? What happened? Don't you think it'll be better to first get out of the well? No, I will not catch the rope unless you answer all my questions and prove to me. The rope is real, strong enough to pull me. You have good intentions to pull me. I can believe you and trust you. First prove all these things. Otherwise, why would I hold the rope? He said, all right, stay in the well. I am going. This is our state. Here we are trapped in the well of a physical creation. And here's a physical body of a perfect living master coming as a friend saying, I can take you out, take you back home. First prove that you are competent to do it. First prove there is something outside. First prove why did I fall in here. That's the kind of proof we are always asking. And we stay in the well. Some people say, we are ready when we get all the answers to our questions. And they question, and they question, and they question, and then they die. Then they're born again, next life. And there's an inkling in them. I think we are seekers. We have been seeking all night. But the mind says, first get your answers. First ask for proof. Here is a path. The spiritual path of the perfect living masters says it's experiential. The only leap of faith needed is to step and practice and experiment. If it doesn't work, give it up. If it works, you will know the truth. It's not something that we are going to pour into you or pour wisdom into you. It's already there. You just have to go within your own self and find it. It's not something lying outside. And yet, we want to argue. We want to be skeptical. There is nothing wrong in being skeptical. There's nothing wrong in having a doubt. But the doubt can be cleared if somebody says, go see behind the wall what is there, you will know what is there. They say, no, but first I want to guess what is behind the wall and try to explain how do you know what's behind the wall? What are your credentials? And you keep on sitting and arguing when he's saying, look, the pathway to the other side of the wall is right here. Why don't you just go and have a look, have a peep for yourself? No, first you describe. How do you know there is something behind the wall? It's our state. Our mind is really playing such big games with us, and we can't even see it. That the mind is deceiving us, trying to hold us back into its own realm. Because having given the power of consciousness to the mind, and having delegated the power of consciousness to our sense perceptions, and finally having delegated the power to the physical body to function as living things, we have become the slaves of these things. Instead of using things to which we gave power to work, we are following them and not at all using our own innate wisdom with which we came here. The truth is, These are very wonderful things given to us. The mind, a creative mind, a thinking mind, a machine that can think so fast, a machine that can create the experience of past, present, and future, a machine that can create time and space. What could be more wonderful than that? It's been given to us so we can use thinking, communicate. Thinking, write. Thinking, do everything else required in communication. A wonderful machine. Think creatively. Think new ideas. Even think your way back to where you should go. Such a wonderful machine. And what have we done? We don't give the instruction to the machine. There's no input. We're trying to get everything out from the machine. Machine tell us what we should do. Mind tell us what we should do. We are being dictated to by a machine that is given for our advantage, for our use. And the mind is not telling us what to do all the time. Naturally, if you empower a machine with so much power and say, my intelligence is now your artificial intelligence, you use it, and you become a slave of the machine will try to hold you in sway all the time, because that's its lifeline. You are given it life, it will try to survive. Every living thing tries to survive, the mind tries to survive. You give it life, it has no life of its own. The life given to a mind is given by the soul. Soul is the only conscious power that can make the mind start thinking. Soul is the only conscious power that can make the senses work. Soul is the only conscious power that can make a body alive, physical body, and make it run around and do things that it does. And yet, we being the soul, having empowered the mind, the senses, and the body, have become slaves of these three. What has happened to us? We should just look at it and say, I must regain my power back because I'm not being given good service by these servants of mine. I was given some servants to serve me, and I have started serving them. It's time to reverse this. I should take control. I will tell the mind what to think. I will tell the mind what to imagine. I will tell the senses what to observe or not to observe. I will tell the body what to do. Let me take back my control, because I am the one that gave it all the power. We should be able to think the truthful fact like this. And if we do that, if we take control and we are able to tell the mind what to do, it doesn't mean we don't use the mind. We are not running away from the mind. We are not running away from thinking. We are using it. Right now, we are being used by thoughts and by the mind. So this revelation that comes to us with the help of a perfect living master really starts reversing our role, and we start getting in control of the things that were given to us. These are so beautiful gifts given to us by your Creator. The gift of the mind, the gift of the body, gift of sensory perceptions, which make the whole world alive. And instead of using them, we are being used by them. So it's good to know this basic fact, that we are not these covers. We are the soul. These are covers given to us. They are very valuable. They are very good. Use them. Use them for adventure and fun. Don't use them for getting pain and disappointments for yourself. Don't use them for saying, oh, I've lost something. You never had it. Don't say, oh, I broke off a relationship. It never was there. You created, predetermined to break it, to see what real love is. The whole thing was done in a very different way, for a different purpose. And now we are moaning and groaning over something which we ourselves are doing because we have become slaves of things that were supposed to serve us. So let's reverse this process. And you'll see this reversal can start even with the help of the intellect. It can start even with the help of the absorption of the truth by whatever we have in the physical body without ever stepping inside. Let's start from there. If you find it's difficult, start from there and see the effects of it. You'll see immediately when the role is changed and you are in control, life will change. And your impact on life and life's impact on you will change. So I would like to open this floor to questions and answers. But I want to say I visited London recently. And it was a very beautiful experience. The love and devotion of people I had never seen. And all of them had seen me, and I had never seen them. How can that be? Electronics, YouTube. So they knew me electronically, and I knew them physically only on this visit. But I was very happy to see them. And then one man in that audience came from Mauritius. He actually came from Reunion Island, which is just next to, it's a French island, next to Mauritius. He came and he carried a song on a DVD or a CD with him, which was a song in Indian language or Pakistani language, in Urdu and a certain type of Punjabi spoken in Pakistan. He didn't know what it meant. So he gave it to the hostess of our London visit, a girl named Anju. And she played it out and said, this is meant for Ishwar Puri, send it to him. So after I had returned from London, she sent the song to me. And such a beautiful song that I couldn't believe that such a song existed and a man was carrying it without knowing what he's carrying. He was carrying a wealth of information with him in the form of a CD and didn't know what it contained. And then I thought, that's how we carry our wealth. That song's title is, it's on YouTube. The song's title is It Nahi Ta Kit Nahi, which means if it is not here, it is nowhere. The title of the song. And the whole song says, if it is not here, it's nowhere. Who is speaking? The song says, who is speaking? Whose voice is it that's coming out? If it is not here, in that voice, it's nowhere else. It is a description of the reality being within the self, sung in such a beautiful voice. I thought, if we have time, we might play a little bit of it. How many of you would like to hear the song? Mark, can it be put on so that they can all hear the voice? It's a short song, but the theme is, Ith nahi to kith nahi. If you are not here, you're nowhere. In strict Punjabi, it would be ethe nahi to kithe nahi. But it says in Multani language, is spoken in Pakistan, in Multan, Lailpur. So, ith nahi to kith nahi.
इहो कौन प्या बोलेदा 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 इतने ही ते कितने ही कंजरी वाली वाली कंजरी वाली सूरत बन के बन के बन के कंजरी सडेदा सडेदा इतने ही ते कितने इहो इतने ही तो कितने ही इतने ही तो कितने ही इतने ही तो कितने ही
Those who are initiated will use their mantra given by the masters. Those who are not initiated can use a temporary mantra created by themselves, expressing love for somebody. Close your eyes. Imagine this body of yours is your house in which you live. It has several floors. The lowest floor is right where you're sitting down at the bottom. Then as the floors rise, you are on the 6th floor behind the eyes. And that's the place where you will always meditate. That is your meditation chamber. So go and imagine you are sitting in the middle of this meditation chamber. And you can examine that the house, this body-like house around you on the 6th floor, that you are sitting on top of your throat. You're sitting on top of your body, and the ears are around you, and the eyes are in front of you. Your hair is on top of you, and you are sitting relaxed, totally relaxed, no tension. The body has nothing to do with it. There's no pressure on the body or the head or the eyes. You are using your imagination to sit behind the eyes in the center of the head. And whatever comes in front, look at it, but don't follow it. If any sounds come, listen to the sounds attentively, but don't move towards them. If a sound comes from the top, listen while you're sitting relaxed in the center. Sound comes from the right, listen from the center. Sound comes from the left, stay in the center and listen to it. If two sounds come, pick up the one coming from the right or above and drop the other. And if a sound seems to be around you, pick up that and listen to it attentively. Put all your attention on the sound when the sound comes. Meanwhile, keep on repeating the words. If the sound disappears, go back to repetition. And when the sound comes, drop the repetition, listen to the sound.